So welcome to our live stream. Today I'm going to change the texture of the sterylene plastered wall. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use Stencil of Paris. I'm going to mix my Stencil of Paris with neutral Tjhoko colors like Stefan, Dance Wash, some Sheriff Stone, and I'm going to create, hopefully, a surface that looks like a cement plastered surface. So in this room I want to create a feature wall. With this plaster on the wall, it really creates a headache. Even if you wash a plaster surface like this, it looks very knobby. So I am going to be creative, I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to use Stencil of Paris and plaster my wall surface. Let's get going. First step, cover your floor surface with a drop sheet so that if you make a mess, it's on the drop sheet, not on your floor or carpet surface. Then I'm going to use, thank you Hamiltons for these paint trays. I'm going to use paint trays and plaster trowels, and I'm going to plaster the wall with this. We're going to see how it works, and if it works, it's not something I've done specifically on a surface like this before, but I'm sure it will be a success. And then I'm going to make sure I have 3 sets of this. Seeing that I'm going to have 3 colors I'm going to work with. I'm going to add Stefan, Tjhoko paint Stefan, in some Stencil of Paris, Dance Wash and Sheriff Stone. So there are my 3 sets, and now I am going to get some Stencil of Paris paste and some Tjhoko paint. If you wondered where I am standing and working today, we are in the room of Nadine. She is our room makeover winner. This is a tiny space that we're busy revamping into something very exciting. Very important step before you start painting is to make sure that you mask off the areas where you don't want any paint to come onto. So I'm going to mask off this section here at the corners and also at the bottom at the skirtings to make sure whatever I do on this wall, it doesn't reach these areas. Next step, once we have done the masking tape, is we are going to paint cut lines with the same color as our wall paint. So we are busy painting the walls of Annery's room in Stefan. So I'm going to use Tjhoko colors for walls, a beautiful low sheen wall paint in the same Tjhoko color Stefan on the walls, so only the cut lines outline this area with Stefan. So what we have done so far is we've applied our masking tape, we've done the cut lines with Stefan, and now I'm going to mix my 3 Tjhoko colors in my Stencil of Paris paste. I'm going to mix it well and apply it onto my wall surface with a trowel. So the colors I'm using with the Stencil of Paris paste is Sheriff Stone, Dance Wash, and my sticker got damaged on this jar, but it's Stefan. Okay, and I'm using a paint scraper. I've just poured out a little bit of paint into my Stencil of Paris paste. This is more or less 1.5 jar Stencil of Paris paste. This is what the Stencil of Paris looks like. And I'm mixing this together. Something to bear in mind is once the Stencil of Paris paste dries with paint mixed into it, it dries 2 to 3 shades darker. So I will just keep this in the back of my mind and make sure that my mix is not too dark, else I will just add some Stencil of Paris paste. So this is my grey colour. I want a very neutral palette. If ever Annery wants to sell the property, this shouldn't be a deal breaker. It must actually be the deal maker. So there's my first color mixed. It's actually stunning. It's grey, which is beautiful. And now I'm going to start with my next colour. I am going to add some Dawn's Wash into this mix. And there's no definite measurements. I'm just going to mix and make sure the colour is beautiful and a contrast with what I've already mixed. You can see that's a warm colour. It's going to look absolutely amazing in the wall space. And I've already poured some Stefan into this plain tray. And now the secret is to have fun. There are no rules. I'm going to plaster my wall with a Stencil of Paris paste. Okay. And how am I going to do this? I'm going to use the trowel. I'm going to, let me start with the darkest grey. I'm going to add some Stencil of Paris to my trowel, and I'm going to start spreading it on the wall. Let's see what it looks like and if it works. This is so satisfying. And I'm continuing with my next colour, and I'm going to be playful and play around between the three shades, and if need be I'll just add plain Stencil of Paris without any paint mixed into it. So I'm applying it quite thick so that at the end I can even it out and spread it more. And to make it even, you turn your trowel to a 45-degree angle and it evens it out. The reason I'm working with three colors is I want a cement effect. If you look at cement, there are variations in color in the cement. So I don't want a flat color, I want some definition with a different natural color. So in my mix here, I have used 3.5 jars of Stencil of Paris, and I'm going to need more. My wall is really roughly plastered, so it takes up more Stencil of Paris space to fill in all the holes and uneven it. Is it working? dry. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. I can't wait for Anne-Marie to see this. Okay, so depending on the weather and the thickness of the application, it can take anything from 2 to 4 hours to dry, but this is absolutely beautiful and a complete change to what the wall looked like previously.